Hello, viewers. Welcome to our program, Kicking It with Coach Donald. And in today's podcast, I'm being joined by a legend of Zim football, Capes United. I'm not sure if I can call you a legend of Zimbabwe. Yes, I'm being joined. I'm being joined by Ceiphas Chimedza. Yes, Ceiphas, how are you today?
Thank you for having me back on the show. I'm doing well, and I hope you are also doing well back there in New York.
Yeah, New York winter storms are killing us. We can't
Yeah.
even play football. We can't even play football. It's bad. I mean, unless we play indoors, but it's
Indoors, yeah, it
difficult.
has to be indoors.
Exactly. So winter is not it's not our favorite. And also we're looking forward to the World Cup that is coming. I think in June, Canada, US, Mexico hosting it together. So and we just came from Africa Cup of Nations where we had a wonderful tournament. Like, did you predict the final of the Africa Cup of Nations? Like it was going to be Morocco, Senegal. Was that your prediction?
I knew from the word go because during the course of the tournament, I actually told people that Senegal and Morocco, they are on a different level. So I was not
Mm.
surprised to see the two of them in the final.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought
No,
I thought Nigeria probably had a chance in that final.
no, yeah,
Uh,
Nigeria.
sorry, you wanted to say something?
No, I was saying that Nigeria were also playing okay, but for me it was Senegal and Morocco. Their level
It
was
was
on a different. Yeah.
yes, and also I think it was unfair. I can't say unfair, but it was unfortunate. You see, when they do the groups, the pairing for the last four, and then Nigeria had to play. They had to play. Was it Egypt? Which team did they have to play? I can't remember much. So and then so that
Nigeria played against Morocco.
Nigeria against Morocco, right? Yes. So for me, that was the final
Yes.
before the final. So, but I wanted to see Nigeria Morocco final. That is what I wanted to see. But it was unfortunate they had to be paid before the final. Yeah. So for me,
Yeah, I
for
think
me,
for me, I think Senegal is the best African team for the past 4 years, so they deserved their participation in the final.
so like, how do you
Yeah.
see them going up to the World Cup as the Senegal team, the team that played? What can you say about their impact? Your prediction of their impact in the World Cup?
Senegal is a team that has been together for a long time. They know what it means to win, and I think going to the World Cup with the new format of the World Cup, they will go in the knockout stages, and they will definitely make their people and Africa proud. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, enough of
Mm.
the Africa Cup of Nations. I just wanted to refresh that because that was an exciting tournament for me. I really enjoyed it, and I was so proud also of our boys how they played. They played good for football, and I could see that the future for Zimbabwe is also bright. So, legend, going forward now. The Africa Cup of Nations is done. Now let's look at the good news that is coming from the motherland that the Chahwanda Stadium is being completed. Uh, and right now, Zimbabwe, we are at a point whereby we were incapacitated to host, international matches. So what can you say now about this completion of Chahwanda Stadium?
What I have to say is what is being done in Kwekwe is a commendable job. Because what I know is that over the years we have had teams with money coming into the league, and then after a few years they leave without they go bankrupt or whatever the reason is for leaving football, but then they don't leave any legacies behind. You've got
Oh,
Blackpool, we've got Amazulu, we've got Sporting Lions. Those teams, they came in with a bang, but after they just left. So first of all, we have to look at Simba Bora with Simbandoro. They've done a fantastic job in Shamba, because now Shamba is a decent stadium. And now with what's happening also in Kwekwe, I think this is what our football need. We need people who come in the football and do something that is big, that will be there for years to come. So we say what Mr. Chahwanda and what the prophet Mr. Magaya are doing. This is commendable. We want more of that.
we want more of that. I like the fact that you said we don't want teams that just get in the Premiership with their name only and leave nothing behind. So if they can leave a stadium, even if they get relegated out of the Premier League, at least we have something
Yeah,
to hold on, and that's real progress. I can say that's development when you leave
that is
something
true. That is
tangible,
true.
and also that makes our football progressive, because instead of relying on the traditional stadiums like Rufaro Stadium and National Sports Stadium, we now have these also teams building big and beautiful world-class stadiums.
Yeah, I think it's high time that our authorities uh, do like what is done in Europe. Most of the teams in Europe, they don't really own those stadia. It's a lease which makes them be the owners for a certain number of years. So if we say, okay, we lease this stadium like Gwanzura Stadium, we lease it out to Cape United, let Cape United develop it. You go to Chitungwiza, you've got Chibuku Stadium. I don't know if it's still there and if it's still running. Let a team take over, develop it, and we go on like that with a number of stadia in Zimbabwe. Then at the end of the day, we have a nice stadium that are actually taken care of each and every time.
Yeah, I agree. And also, what is also positive to note is that we now have this beautiful stadium, not only in Harare or Bulawayo, but other small cities
Yeah.
now have this beautiful stadium, which is a positive. I'm so excited by that prospect. So I would picture maybe, let's say, 5, 10 years down the line, if we can also have, let's say, stadiums in Victoria Falls,
Yeah.
those strategic uh, cities with airports already, so that okay, you can just catch a flight from South Africa, go straight to Victoria Falls, and you get to watch maybe the Zimbabwe Warriors playing another team. So those are some of the prospects that probably we'll be looking forward to after this Chahwanda development. Yes.
Yeah. Indeed,
Yeah.
it is something that has to happen. In Kariba, we have ZPC. They can do
Mm,
the same, have a nice stadium.
mm.
Shesham in Gweru, they are doing it with is it Bata Stadium? So it will be a positive development for us.
Yes, because also in Mutare, was it the Sakuva Stadium, if it can be revived as well,
Yeah, yeah,
and that will be great. So we have, like, world class stadiums in different cities. That, I mean, that's very important. So let's move on. Also, now we saw Highlanders being capacitated with a big sponsorship. Scotland already, they are coming in with I mean, well sponsored. Then we also see Dimbari also getting the sponsorship. That's number one. Okay, before we move further, what can you say along those lines, like for our football, for our Premier League?
yeah. First of all, about Dynamos, I don't know if there is something, because I have not read or heard anything concerning any sponsorship with the Highlanders. Yeah, I know Wicknell Chivayo has done something. It's a good thing. A a good Highlanders is good for our football. And I'm happy that they have something happening at this moment which can show that they are a top team, which can hopefully put them back at the top where they will be challenging for titles. Because over the years when I was still playing, I always knew that for you to be champions, you have to finish ahead of Highlanders. So I hope that this season they will be fighting at the top. They will be fighting for titles, not where with the 5 matches to go, they still have a possibility of being relegated. And then here and there we hear stories of player strikes because of non-payment of salaries and signing on fees. So hopefully Mr. Chivayo will come in and help the team so that they do well again.
There is a secret I need to tell you, Ceiphas. You can't do something for Highlanders
Yes,
and not do for Dimbare. So even if like there's nothing that we're reading on paper, but I can tell you for a fact that if Highlanders have got that big sponsorship, trust me, Dimbare will also will also get
we
that
will
kind of
wait and
sponsor.
see. We'll
I'm
wait and
telling
see.
you.
Because
And
Dynamos is completely different.
yeah.
Yeah, it has different
Yeah.
dynamics.
Yes. And also now another, because I mean, like we riding on the wave of positives in our domestic football. Now we see the legends that you played with. We see Benjani going to Islanders. We see Peter Love now being a team manager. The role that he once played in Mamelodi Sundowns, right? With Mamelodi Sundowns. That means now he's more experienced and he's coming home now to to work with Scotland. What are your feelings toward that towards your former colleagues and also as a Zim football lover? What can you say about that?
This is what has to happen in our football. We have to have players playing in Europe and then coming back home and imparting what they've learned to our football. That's the only way it can grow. You look at in South Africa, you've got your Benny McCarthy's, your Sean Bartlett's. They came back home and they did things within the football in their own country. So this is a positive thing to have people of the caliber of Peter of Benjani back home. It will help a lot the young boys coming through because I remember when I was still playing, I played alongside the Agent Sao. He was
Yeah,
playing, and I learned a lot from him, from being a from him being a player. And then I also played and trained with Norman Mapeza when he came to Caps United, and I learned a lot from him again. So you can imagine now learning from someone who is now a coach or a manager, the way you are going to listen to them, the way you are going to learn from them. It's big.
yeah. Take us back to that time when you were rubbing shoulders with the greats like Norman Mapeza, that kind of a player who played in the UEFA Champions League, Galatasaray. Just how was the should I say how were you feeling at that time? What was like the motivation like for you as a young boy?
If you are around such people who have seen it all in football, it is up to you as a young player to say, I want to learn from them. They are there for you to ask questions, to look at how they are working out, what they are doing. Because, for example, the extra training after training, Norman was big on it. Every time after training, he would do his extra trainings, and then as young boys, we started to join in, and then afterwards, he would now start to call us all to say, "Come on, let's start to do this. Let's do this." So, as a young player, you will say, "Okay, this is what I have to do for me to reach a certain level. This is what is expected to be a professional football player." So, as a young player, you have to be willing to learn.
Wow. So, like, because I know egos are growing up and thinking you are a star, but now when you see big players, with the great work ethic, you realize talent is not enough. You need to put in the work.
That is so true.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like, I just highlighted that point so that the young, young aspiring footballers coming up, when they see this interview, they will see like, okay, we can take this home, and be better. All right. So yeah, now you talked about you playing alongside no, so I mean, like, what I call it, Norman Mapeza. And now that reminds me of the junior side of Zim football. Now with the infrastructure that is coming, as far as the Chahwanda is concerned, and I also saw on the Zifa website advertising for an under 17 coach, and they were like asking for let's say high credentials like the CAF or UEFA A license. So what can you say about the administration, the Zifa administration, as far as trying to make a higher standard of our football?
Yeah, I saw Zifa announcing a sponsorship deal for the youth
Mm.
teams, and they were talking about running proper leagues for the youth, for the junior football. I think that should be a start before we even talk about national team coaches for the youth teams. First, we should have a proper youth league. How do we go about it? And also, I saw them talking about some affiliation fees and stuff of academies, and the money was just too steep. I think they have to find a way where they have to make sure that they are not going to close the door for other people. It's not it's not everyone who can afford. So they have to find a way to say, okay, like in Europe, teams have different tiers. There's a elite level, there is a this level and that level, and there's a really, really grassroots where the money paid there is really less. So they have to find a balance to say, okay, we have to develop a lot of players. Each and every kid around the country should be able to play football. So how do we go about it? Which kind of coaches should be involved in the youth teams? Which kind of leagues do we have to have for different teams of different levels?
Mm, 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 mm. That's a valid point you raised. Also, in my opinion, I also think, because remember, if you're to look into Zim football junior structures, most of the kids they don't pay to participate in their various let's say district clubs, and they go there for free. So
Yeah,
it's my suggestion that Zifa should also look into that. Maybe put a subsidy, for those teams so that they can afford the affiliation
yeah,
fee. Yeah. For example, let's say if they were charging, let's say
yeah,
let's say it's $500, right? Then those district teams from Kwadzana and and other districts around Shitungiza, they can pay. Let's say if they say $100,
yeah,
it's easy
yes,
for those guys to mobilize resources amounting to $100 to pay for the affiliation. Uh,
yeah.
Also,
That is what I mean. Something like that. Yes.
yes, and also maybe to like have a database, and just ensure that there is allocation of resources like footballs. I know it's easy. I mean, like, we have got all the guys around the country, around the world, so it's easy to mobilize things like soccer balls and cones, get them to Zifa, and then they start also distributing them, across all districts, and something like that. So I think going forward, it's something that they should also look into, and do that. Because I remember in under FIFA, you still
Yeah,
remember
correct.
what they used to call the FIFA Go project? You still remember that one?
Yes, yes, it is like that. The funds that come from FIFA should be distributed in a way that the youth teams benefit. Yeah,
Correct, correct. And also, I remember 2010. You see, with the World Cup, it was not only just money. even soccer balls, would come to Harare, and then they start distributing to
Yeah.
provinces and district teams. Yeah. So it becomes easier if there is a database, and if those junior clubs, they affiliate with the national association. And like, what you said it well when you said the fees or the affiliation fees should be affordable, you see, for common teams. And also now looking into the infrastructure that is coming through, I think uh, that should also impact on the development of junior football as well. Good facilities and academies also having access to those world class stadiums. Because you have a situation, I'll give you an example. Let's say Youth Olympics, right? Then let's say
Yeah.
our team comes to Belgium. They are not used to those world class facilities. You get a stage fright. I mean, I want to take you back maybe to the first days you set foot in Belgium when you were playing in that artificial turf. You are not used to that, right? Correct?
When I came to Belgium, luckily I had played for two big teams, Cape United, Dynamos, so I was used to playing in a in a full stadiums, and also with the national team. I've been to the North Africa, and
Oh,
there we trained on the like artificial fields and stuff. So for me coming here, I was ready. But I understand your point that young boys have to get used to playing in such a atmosphere, because when I was with Dynamos Juniors, once in a while we would play as curtain raisers for the first team. So as under 15 boys, like mostly Champions League matches of Dynamos when I was still with under 15, would play as curtain raisers. So we are playing in front of 40, 50,000 supporters at the National Sports Stadium. It gave us that feeling from a young age of what is it to expect when you become a professional. So indeed, if we have a lot of stadia of a certain quality and have youth players play as curtain raisers, it will give them motivation and it will help them to say, okay, when I become a professional, this is what's expected.
yeah. But you know better on this one, right? There is a difference when you play in the natural turf and artificial turf, right? There is a difference, right?
Yeah, yeah, big difference. There's a
You-
big difference because especially now, like now in Belgium,
Mm,
almost all youth teams are now playing on artificial grass because
mm,
it's
mm.
is the best when it comes to all different conditions. When it's raining, the trainings are not going to be cancelled because of water-logged pitches. When it's winter, the trainings are not cancelled because the field is hard, is unplayable. So artificial pitches are everywhere now in Belgium. So I hope in Zimbabwe we are going to have companies, sponsors coming up and having those for the youth teams.
Yeah, because also in terms of the facility management, managing the stadiums, and if it's artificial, I think it might be expensive, it might be costly, but it's easy to manage, right? Instead of like the grass, you see the artificial grass,
That
and
is very
also now since this now like a world norm of having artificial turf. So that makes easy for
true.
local players when they want to transition to the global stage because they'll be used to that.
Yeah.
Like when you mentioned to let's say junior Dynamos juniors curtain raising, let's say for big Dynamos match. Now when they are used to the artificial stadiums, if they go
Yeah.
for trials, let's say to Kaizer Chiefs, like I know you once had trials with Kaizer Chiefs, right? You once
I
went
say
to
again, I
Kaiser.
did not get it.
I said
Oh
you once
yeah.
went. Yeah. So that transition when you go to Kaizer Chiefs and you are playing in artificial turf, you won't struggle because you are used to that kind of setup. So that's why I'm emphasizing the point of having world class and sticking to world standards when we do our stadium construction and everything like that. It also make things easier. It simplifies a lot of things for the young players also developing.
Yeah, indeed, the artificial makes it easy when it comes to the upkeep of the fields, because sometimes when we are watching local matches on YouTube, the
Yeah.
quality of the fields is not nice. So with artificial pitches, you know that you will not get such problems.
Yeah. Take me back. I know today I'm just going back and forth, but take me back to the Kaizer Chiefs deal. What happened when you went to Kaizer Chiefs?
If I say about what happened with Kaizer Chiefs, then we have to close the channel. It's a story that involves a lot of people, and some people don't like their stories out there. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, because
yeah,
I didn't have much info. I just saw because I didn't even know that he had something to do with Chiefs. I was reading some article. I don't know. It popped out. Like it was a
yeah,
Herald. It was a Herald news article and said, Ceiphas signed for Chiefs. And I was like, okay, how come like when we you never told me
yeah.
about Chiefs, yeah.
Now,
But
back in 2005, I almost joined Kaizer Chiefs. I went over there to do kind of get to know the players and stuff, and then I signed a pre-contract deal to join them. But it was a deal that will come into effect later on. But then
oh, I see.
during that time, that's when the a Belgian team came over and got me interested. Then I said, okay, I'm going to Belgium rather than to Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, like when an overseas
Mm.
deal comes, obvious,
Yeah,
you would want to go there.
that
So,
was the case.
no, yeah, no, it's because I mean
Yeah,
that was not the main topic. It's something that I just thought and
yeah,
like, yeah, I wanted like viewers just to get a
yeah.
snippet of of what transpired. Yeah. So, Cephas, because we don't have much time, what can you say are your closing remarks from what we have discussed? Infrastructure development, junior development. I mean, like, and what is it that you want to see?
Now, what I can say is that it will be refreshing to see teams like Dynamos, Caps United, Highlanders being back up there, challenging for the honors, not having a lot of problems, during the season when it comes to paying the players and stuff. And also, it's refreshing to see the new boys always coming in the league and not struggling in terms of finances. There were years before where a new team that comes in the league, you know that they are going to struggle financially. But now when we have a team like Hard Rock coming in and having that kind of stadium, it makes you smile. It makes you want more for such teams to come up. You want them to do well also when they are now in the league. And yeah, I just say big up to all the sponsors, to all the owners of these teams who are putting a lot of their money into our football so that we can have such things. It's something that we want for our football, and hopefully we will have more of such.
Yeah, Cephas, I mean, you said it well. We need money in our football. I'm thinking of a situation where you are playing for a club in Zimbabwe that is not well financed, and you're traveling from Harare to Wange instead of taking a flight. You're going there by bus. You're going there by
Yeah,
bus
yeah, those
to play,
challenges. Yeah.
and then you have a midweek game again. So which means the hassle of traveling to Wange back by bus.
Yeah.
play a competitive game, then come and play mid. It takes a lot. It's a toll on. It takes a toll on players, and it might affect their long-term,
That's
athletic development. Yeah. So, Ceiphas, my
that's
brother, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm so grateful. I mean, I know it was like
no
difficult
problem.
to come to this, but you made it happen. Yes.
Yeah, it is like that. Sometimes we have to squeeze in the times for each other. We have to find time for each other. And thank you for having me again on the show.
No, the pleasure is ours. So, Cephas, take great care, right? Till we meet again.
Ciao.
Yes, guys. All right,
Cheers.
guys. So that was Cephas with me today in the studio. So hope to
Oh,
speak with him again
I don't know
next
how to
time.
go about it.
I, you can just exit like that. Thank you. Yes, so that was Cephas joining me, and we were talking about Zim football. It's good to see the Chahwanda stadiums that has been constructed in Zimbabwe. So we're looking at how the infrastructure development, how is it going to impact in the future of Zim football. And also we see former legends of the game, Peter Ndov, Benjamin Marwar, coming back to Zim football. Peter Ndov with Scotland, Benjamin with Highlanders. So it looks like our football is going up. We catching up with with our neighbors, South Africa, and we catching up with the Kenya, the Tanzania, the Morocco, the Egypt, and other African, countries that are also developing their football. So that is it from your boy, Coach Donald, guys. Till we meet again. Take great care. All right.